Have you ever looked at your life and thought, everything looks good? So why do I feel so disconnected? Maybe you've done the work, you've shown up, you're grateful. And from the outside, your life makes sense. And yet something still feels off. If that question has ever crossed your mind or something similar to that, this episode is for you. This space honors all paths of connection, healing, and family, grounding ourselves in sacred teachings as we are anchored in ancient roots, ready to rise from the soil of our past. I'm Irene Stupski, here to guide you through stories, insights, and spiritual practices that will help you heal and rediscover your true belonging. Welcome to Angels, Adoption, and Ancestors. My name is Irene Stupski, and I am a certified spiritual life coach. And this is a space for connection and belonging with angels who walk beside us, with family in all its forms, and with the part of you that's been quietly waiting to be heard. But before we go any further, if this conversation resonates with you in any point, take a moment to follow the show, to write comments if comments are available. And if someone comes to mind while you're listening, share this episode with them. That's how these conversations travel. That's how we help one another heal quietly, person to person. All right, let's talk about disconnection. Disconnection doesn't always show up as sadness. Sometimes it shows up as restlessness or numbness, even anxiety and stress. We really feel disconnected in those moments. And sometimes it's a quiet sense of, is this it? And what makes it confusing is that for many, life is good. There's love, there's stability, there's effort being made. And so when this disconnection shows up in those moments, many women assume that there's something wrong with them. And they may think, I should be happier. I actually had my doctor tell me that once. I should be more grateful. I've had people tell me that before too. And other people, they have it worse. That's a common one I like to tell myself. But here's the truth I want to say clearly and strongly. Feeling disconnected does not mean you are ungrateful. It does not mean that you are broken. And it does not mean that you are failing humanly or spiritually. Very often, it means you are outgrowing an old way of relating to yourself and the world, and the energetic parts of your body, they begin to feel different. Your hormones are shifting, changing, not producing. You may not be sleeping well, or maybe you are. And all feelings of disconnection are prevalent. I know this space well. And for a long time, my life has looked beautiful on the outside. I have love. I have support. I have a family who cares deeply for me. And yet, inside, I carried this quiet ache I didn't know how to name. As someone who was adopted, I learned early how to be adaptable, how to be grateful, how to be externally strong while feeling disconnected on the inside. I learned how to fit in. I played the chameleon role really well. And even when I didn't fully belong to myself, that disconnection, it didn't show up as chaos. It showed up as questioning. Who am I really? Especially in my late 30s and early 40s. Why do I feel like something is missing when I've done everything right? When I literally have it all? Why do I feel called towards something deeper that I can't quite explain? I didn't have the language for it at the time. I just knew that there was more truth beneath the surface. And many of the women that I work with and I speak with today are standing in that same place. We're not in crisis. We're not falling apart. We just quietly feel disconnected. So if this is you, you may be asking next, where do I turn? What is next? Here's the reframe that changes everything. Disconnection is often a signal, not a problem. Here's something that I've learned through my healing journey. When disconnection shows up, guidance is already present. Angels don't arrive to fix us or rush us forward. They arrive to sit with us. It's our job to figure it out, to read the messages and receive the signs with open arms. So many people imagine angelic guidance as signs and messages and dramatic moments. But more often, angels work through comfort, quietness, stillness, and especially pain and grief, and through a sense of being held when you can't explain why, and through the quiet reassurance that you're not alone in what you're feeling. Through this gentle nudge that says, you're safe to slow down, to feel your emotions. For me, working with angels wasn't about becoming someone new. It was about being guided back to the safe place of myself, back to truth, back to the parts of me that learned to stay quiet in order to survive. Angels don't shout directions. They don't point you left or right. They accompany us home. And when you're feeling disconnected, especially when life looks good, those moments are often the ones that draw you closest. Not to push you forward, but to help you soften and to listen to yourself and remember who you are beneath the roles, the expectations, and coping patterns. Disconnection isn't the absence of guidance. Very often, it's the beginning of it. It's a signal that your inner life is asking for, and this one is a big one, asking for more honesty, more alignment, and more space. We live in a world that teaches us to keep going, keep achieving, keep coping. But very few spaces teach us how to pause and ask, what am I actually feeling? What am I outgrowing? And why am I so afraid to let go of this? The friend who no longer gets you, the old feeling that continues to rise to the surface, the way you've been doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a new result. But part of you has been quiet for too long. This is where spirituality, real spirituality, comes in. Not the kind that bypasses pain, not the kind that demands constant positivity, but the kind that sits with truth. For me, that meant learning how to listen, not just with my mind, but with my whole self. And that's not easy, especially when we are surrounded by so much noise. I receive best in stillness, but I've also learned to receive in the middle of a large crowd, at an extremely loud concert, when 4 very loud, energetic grandchildren are running around. Those are the moments that used to stress me out and create anxiety, but it meant understanding that angels and guidance aren't going to shout, but they're accompanying me. They're with me. It also means that connection with family exists in many forms: biological, adoptive, ancestral, chosen. And that belonging isn't something we earn by being good enough. It's something we remember when we stop abandoning ourselves. We remember that true belonging begins within oneself. The power to go inward is where we'll find the deepest connection of all, guiding us directly to divine source, God, and the Holy Spirit. Light forces that are always directly connected to us, never severed from the beginning of your soul's time. So if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, that's me, I want to offer you one simple question to sit with. Where in my life am I functioning, but not fully present? You don't need to answer this today or tomorrow. So go ahead and write it down. I'll repeat it again for you. Where in my life am I functioning, but not fully present? You don't need to fix anything. Just notice what rises when you ask it to. Disconnection softens when it's met with curiosity instead of judgment. Breathe that in. Exhale out. Thank you for being here. And if this conversation touched something in you, let it settle. Let it breathe. You don't need to rush it. And again, if this episode resonated, follow the show so you don't miss what's coming next, because I've got a lineup of some great stuff coming forward. And go ahead and share it with someone who might need to hear that they're not alone in this. Angels, adoption, and ancestors grows through connection, not clicks. And I'm grateful that you are a part of this beautiful sacred circle. Coming up in the Back to Me monthly membership is the Soul Ignition Authentic Manifesting Blueprint. So whether you're brand new to this work or deepening your connection, this series will meet you right where you are and gently walk you home to yourself. The link is below if you'd like more information. Until next time, walk gently, trust what's unfolding, and remember, you are not disconnected because something is wrong with you. You are being invited to go deeper within.